Hey, Joe.
How's it going, Brian?
It's been a while.
It has. It doesn't feel like it's been that long, but time goes different during the summer.
It really does, That are these called the dog days of summer? What does that mean?
I'm not quite sure, but we're recording this in August now.
Yeah.
And to me, August is to summer what Sunday afternoon is to every weekend. It's like, oh,
there's a term.
It's ending.
Yeah, there's a term for that. It's called the Sunday Scaries.
Oh, yeah.
You ever heard that?
I think I may have.
I'm not joking. Yeah, it's real.
I think I came across that. I don't remember it specifically, but I think I came across it one day when my Google search was, why am I depressed on Sunday afternoon?
It's always good when the search engine is trying to tell you something about yourself. Like, maybe you should should talk to somebody about that.
Next question. Are there guns in the house? No.
No. Okay. Well, then good. Yeah, Google's always looking out for you, right?
That's right.
They're always looking out for you.
I Googled it because I'm looking out for myself. And by the way, I said depressed, but no, it was not clinical depression. It's just that, I had a whole weekend and I didn't do what I wanted.
Yeah, no, I get it. The vibe. It's kind of a vibe, and it's also the sinking feeling of working. You have to start working. Do you work Mondays?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Oh yeah.
I thought you did not work Mondays, or I don't know. I remember this a long time ago where I was super jealous. There's a specific day of the week where I don't think you were working Mondays at some time, or there's a day where you're like, oh, I just don't do anything that day, and I take the day off. I'm like, it's like a normal weekday. And I could have sworn that we're doing stuff. You could do stuff like that.
When I've worked in new homes communities and had a partner, we're never in the sales office on the same day. And so there'd be days during the week where I wasn't at the sales office. And some days are slower than others, and so there would sometimes be a day during the week where I deliberately try not to do much because really in real estate, it's client-based. It's when your clients need you to do something. So in a way, there's kind of no calendar. And for most of my career, I do some form of work or another on weekends.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so
you never stop working, do you? Pretty much never. You're always thinking about stuff, aren't you?
I'm writing 3 contracts right now. See them in front of me?
Yeah. You hired some sort of automated AI to write it for you. It's like, oh, Joe, he's getting things done. But I always wonder, like when you're a real estate agent and you're just kind of working at your own pace, but it's funny, you find things to occupy your mind with you see pencil sharpener kind of thing, zzz, just trying to kill time. There's no one to talk to.
Not a lot of that. I mean, sometimes there are, like I said,
you should be following up with emails if you're doing that.
Yeah,
doing stuff like that.
Exactly. If I find myself doing that, I'm like, there is something productive I could be doing. I can check, make sure my MLS listings are updated. I can check my inbox, make sure I've followed up with everybody.
You can text me every once in a while if you want.
I do sometimes.
You do, yeah. You do.
Yeah. Like that time I was in my real estate license class and there was that guy that looked like Billy Joel.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. And you were like, you're not going to believe this. He's a guy who looks like Billy Joel.
Billy Joel's getting a Missouri real estate license. How about that?
He's really expanding his reach there.
I guess so he can play concerts in vacant homes in Missouri or something. I don't know what his angle is there. But
oh, gosh. Yeah.
And it may not have been Billy Joel.
I bet you would. I have a feeling it wasn't Billy Joel. But then again, you never know. Maybe they were filming some show where it's a new NBC show, like Billy Joel does things that rock stars don't normally do or whatever.
Yeah. It's an episode that's been in the can for forever, but I see it come out this fall. It's like Billy Joel undercover,
Oh, I bet you the B plot of that episode is you asking dumb questions throughout the whole thing. Are you that guy in classes like in high school or whatever, they raise their hand and they ask a question every 5 minutes or whatever. It's be that guy at a seminar that everyone paid $2,000. Well, I guess that was, if it's license renewal, it's only $100 or something like that. But
I can't remember what it was, but it was a rare in-class license renewal for me because I had missed a renewal deadline.
Joe,
I know.
Bad. That's not good.
I made good on it. I went to the class. I got it all taken care of.
I like that in newsletters where I like the newsletters that we get from is it KREC? and they I think it's kind of mean. They sent out who got their license suspended.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's public information. Yeah.
Oh, that's mean. It's like,
Yeah.
like every time. I mean, I bet you we all read it though. Like it's like, all right, so this is the new law passed about advertising. Oh, and make sure that your home buyers know: is it summertime ready? Check those ACs. Also, the following people got their license suspended and or revoked. Like, oh God, this got dark.
Yeah. I won't say his name, even though it's public, but there was a rather big name that got suspended.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
And there was, you mentioned it to me, but there has been a lot of buzz about it. And I've heard some interesting stories, none that I can confirm about why said person is suspended right now. But yeah.
Remember those, I don't know if you've ever seen these, but like they have like when you're at a gas station, I've seen them like on the highway and they have like mugshots from across the country for that month. Maybe they should have like license revoked magazines.
Oh, yeah.
And they like break down what happened.
Oh, that'd be great.
Oh God, that'd be so embarrassing. I guess it's a public it's a licensed job through the state, right? So they keep track of this stuff. And I think you said this a while ago on a different episode. Like, look, people trust us with their homes.
Yeah.
So you have to be out on the up and up,
No, in fact, Missouri was the first state. I think Kansas does it now too. I had to get fingerprinted and had my fingerprints run through the Missouri State Police.
I had to go to the KBI, the FBI for Kansas, the KBI. Mm-hmm. I was walking in there and it's like, it was so weird going into like the Kansas Bureau of Investigation because first off, it's set up kind of like a doctor's office meets like gas station with the glass or whatever. So like there's a waiting room and you walk up and the person has like a big thick thing of glass and it's so dreary in there. It's like just some really run down old office building, but the amount of power they have like that they can wield in there. I'm like, this does not reflect the amount of power y'all have. But so just kind of, and they asked me that I remember filling out like forms and like, it's like you psych yourself out. Like, do not say anything false on these forms accidentally. Like, what if I accidentally perjure myself or something?
I spelled Brian with an I.
Oh no.
Why did I do that?
Oh, put your hands up against the wall, sir. God dang it. But yeah, you have to get fingerprinted and they run your background and because we are going out to the public and it's regulated by, I guess, the state, right? So, and therefore that means, I guess, if licenses are no longer, if they get pulled or revoked for whatever reason, it's maybe the public's interest to know about that.
Yeah. Well, and Kansas, their Board of Realtors state is very specific to real estate. The Missouri's is on like, it's like all the trades and careers and jobs that they license. So you can see all the state license. And I'd love to see like some of these people like you have to have licenses to do hair care. You have to have licenses to do
pretty much
like private investigations.
Yeah. I mean, gosh.
Tree removal, I'm assuming.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Anything that like might touch a utility.
Yeah.
Pretty much you gotta be certified and licensed and all that and insured, right? Like electricians, I've been doing marketing for electricians and they're like, yeah, bonded, insured or licensed and all that. I'm like, oh yeah, you probably should have insurance because if you burn someone's house down, that's a bad review on
Google. You don't want to go out of pocket on that either. No.
That's a Google review. That's a 1-star right there.
Yeah.
Real nice guy, but my house burned down.
Yeah. He was almost done. I felt bad. And then the house, poof, total loss.
Poof. Yeah. It's like a poof emoji, a smoke emoji or whatever. So, but yeah, I was back to like the kind of mugshot thing in my very small town I grew up in. They posted mugshots on the internet, on the websites, and the local news website would post them on their section of the thing, and they had the comment section open, and people would light them up in the comment section because everyone knew at least one person in the mugshots like section, and they would comment on their kids. They're like, that's why your kids are messed up or something. It was so brutal. And they like, I remember my mom was like, they were asking her for advertising because it's a local news organization and they own a retail store. And she's like, I'm not going to advertise and until you close the comment. Like, I don't know. It wasn't just her, but like, I think it was a collection. Like, I can't advertise there because those comments are toxic. It's bad. Like people, we do have like presumption of innocence here. And we understand that that's public. But I don't like how it's playing out with the comments and how people are going back and forth down there. And it was a big to do, but they eventually shut off the comments. I don't think it's because of her specifically, but I think it was kind of a chorus of people saying like, you got to get rid of those.
No, she has a lot of pull in Hayes.
Oh yeah. She's she has a store north of I-70. And so if you're ever stopping in Hayes on your way to Denver, which trust me, you are probably, if you're listening in the car in I-70 driving to the west right now, past Junction City, you're probably going to Denver.
Yeah, probably. I don't know, maybe Goodland. I don't know.
You ever hear my idea about like renting skis equipment in Hayes? And then like people can pick it up there at a much discount price, go skiing in the mountain. Because whenever I would leave my ski trip, the last thing I wanted to do, because I was so exhausted, was go return equipment. I just wanted to get in the car and leave and get on the road and just leave. But you always had to like stop somewhere and go do this thing for 30 to 45 minutes. And I just hate that experience. But if you get on the road and we drive for like 5 hours and I'm ready to get some food and pull over in Hayes and do that, that would probably, I can see a market of people like wanting to do that instead. But I don't think I'm going to do that. But if you want to start that, you go ahead.
Hang on a second. I've got my bingo card here for young man privilege, and I'm putting tired after skiing. Poor thing. Oh my gosh.
Well, it is exhausting. It's a high octane sport.
And it is at altitude, you know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I like how whenever you go skiing, like everything's more expensive, right? Like a hot dog up in Breckenridge is like $12. And I think that's why they've developed the concept that I realized the higher up in altitude you go anywhere, the more expensive things get. Like if you're on an airplane, everything's like 3 times what it normally costs anywhere else. Yeah. Or if you're like going up a mountain, like everything just costs way more apparently. And something about altitude and money. Money's worth less the higher up you go.
Yes, it is true.
Someone should look into that.
I think we just did.
That's as far.
I think, that counts as data.
Yeah. Am I an economist now?
Yeah. So I need to do more high altitude real estate.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. That'd be awesome. Yeah. Why don't you get yourself into that and like buy a rental property or investment property that I can use in Breckenridge?
Vail.
Yeah. Vail. Yeah. Why not? Aspen.
Tahoe.
Tahoe stuff, yeah.
That's a little further west.
It's a little quite a ways out there. Speaking of, home prices. It seems like those vacation places, the home prices tend to go in one trajectory, but locally, Kansas City, things are cooled off a little bit, I think. There's a story. Let's see here. Oh, wait. These cities had the fastest growing home prices in Kansas. Actually, this is exact opposite of what I just said. Top 4, get this: Kansas City, Wichita, 3 Lawrence, and 4 Topeka. But have you noticed even though they're growing the fastest, have you seen a cooling kind of thing in the last few weeks since you checked the MLS like every 3 minutes?
I've noticed like a leveling off. Like I think they're plateauing, and I saw a chart today, and I just looked at it. It was something a lender posted on Facebook, and it showed, when the housing crash happened in 2008, after a big run up in prices, there was a lot more inventory. We're still kind of in a low inventory situation that's keeping that's keeping prices stable. If we suddenly, for whatever reason, got a flood of inventory, which I don't know that there's any projection that shows that. Yeah, we could see a price decrease, but 2008, 2009, that was the era we saw a lot of distressed homes enter the market, and people putting their home on the market were competing with a foreclosure or a short sale, and we're just not seeing that right now. And right now, the inventory is hovering, like I said, the Heartland MLS, which I checked today, just clicked active and nothing else, no other criteria, was like hovering right around 5,000 or just below, which is higher than it's been. Oh gosh, at least 6 months, but it's probably been closer to a year since I've seen that number on the inventory. And that's a good thing because the demand is still there. We did have interest rates go up not too long ago, but I think it is enough time has passed that the consumers adjusted to that. And I think some more people are going to come off the sidelines this fall, even though the rates are higher and their monthly payment, wasn't in that ideal sweet spot they hoped it would be. At least now they're not necessarily in a bidding war. They can drive around all afternoon, look at houses, and not worry that the one they just saw just got sold.
Yeah. It's crazy how human buying consumption works like that. It's funny. Like it's been at zero or hovering around 0% or the Fed at least, but like 3%, around the 3% territory for mortgage rates. Then it gets up to 4.5%. And there's always like the shock or whatever you want to call it. Like, come on. You just wait long enough. And it's like, okay, let's go buy a house now.
Well, it's all relative. Somebody who's 25 and thinking about buying their first home has no idea. They've known nothing but low rates. Somebody like me who got their license when I was very, very young, by the way, but it was in the early 2000s. And I remember people would be like, the 7% mortgage. Whoa, that's cheap. Like if rates went up to 7% today, the market probably would lock up, but
it's interesting. Also, I saw, was it what our interview with Trish, or somebody said it like, or I don't know if I read it, but it was like, people are concerned about like what happened last time in 2008, but if things rise too quickly, but they're like, well, the market doesn't have as many adjustable rate mortgages.
That's true.
It's more like locked into the conventional or whatever 30-year fixed rate, which is what one of the, there's a lot of issues, but one of the things was like, I have a 30-year fixed rate. That means I'll pay relatively the same thing for the next 30 years, as long as I don't refinance or taxes get weird and go out of control.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like a very predictable number for the next 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have an adjustable rate, like, whenever the interest rates go up, you can double your payment, or I don't know if double is the right word, but it can make your pay go up quite a bit.
It can change it by a couple $100, which isn't nothing. But still, like I said, it's relatively low. If you were, I think the difference now is like if you were looking at $350,000 homes, you're probably pulling back to 325,000.
I see. Got to hammer them on the home when you're trying to buy it.
And you still may be able to do 350. I haven't crunched the numbers and seen what 5.5% versus 3 3/4% would be, but over the course of a month, it's probably the equivalent to a dinner out. That's one way to look at it. The difference there. So,
you like deploy like a thing like a mold gun of some kind where you shoot mold at a house, and like if the house is at $325,000, throw a mold at it like while you're thinking about like seeing it the next day, and you can point at it and be like, mold right there.
You can do that. You can drop a baggie of meth. You can.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's also good. Can you dig up how about you dig up like the gas line going into it? And I don't know, just think of something. I don't know.
It's funny. This is kind of related, kind of not, but last week, myself, my parents, my brothers, their wives, and their kids, all 10 of us were in a Verbo rental at Lake of the Ozarks, and they have the guest sign-in book. And just to be like evil, I wanted to like put in there like, we had such a great time spending the night in the house where the McCormick murders happened. The Lake of the Ozarks only quintuple homicide, and we stayed there. We're so great. And I just want like, all these other like entries are like, we had a great girls' weekend, woo, and then like some weekend of like 4 bachelorettes opens up. There were murders here,
or like, this house was awesome. I found it on hauntedhouses.com or hauntedrentals.com. And then like you tell the people guest book checking it, like just Google YouTube search this, and they find it on YouTube on their phones. And like you take like a black and white like photo from like that Verbo home, and then like you make some sort of editing where like like some sort of ghost apparatus happens, and then maybe they can freak out the rest of the time they're like hanging out of that rental place. They think it's haunted the whole time.
Or like, yeah, we love staying at places where we're pretty sure we're going to get abducted by aliens. We were,
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah, Verbos are sweet. I like Airbnb, but Verbo is like what. Verbo is what like the engine I think that works Airbnb's engine, I believe. I could be wrong on that. Or there's like some crossover there.
There is some crossover. It's an interesting world that I want to do more research on, because people who have invested in short-term rentals are doing pretty well right now.
Yeah.
Especially places like Lake of the Ozarks, but even like around Kansas City, and it's like, who comes to Kansas City for the weekend and rents a house? But
yeah, there are Airbnbs in Lawrence. I can see myself, if I am a parent and I don't want to stay at a hotel for graduation weekend.
Yeah,
I can see that being a thing. You know what? I think in Kansas City, and certainly like if I wanted to come watch the Chiefs play, if I was traveling from out of town, maybe I wouldn't want to stay at a hotel. Maybe I'd want to get a house with my friends. Yeah,
and that's what I'm hearing from the people who own them. They're like, yeah, well, Chiefs game day, yeah, we charge 5 times more. And it's, like usually a group of 5 from someplace regional, like, Iowa or Nebraska, somebody's coming in for a day and a half, doesn't want to drive home that night. And when the Royals were doing well. But
those were the days.
Hey, we got some good rookies now.
Yeah, we do. I just remember watching the World Series and the night we won. We're all watching it together at your place. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I miss those days.
I do too. Gosh, the whole town was just like blue for the whole fall.
So cool. Yeah. That was so fun.
And it was 2014 and 15.
Yeah, that was an awesome run there. Like between those back-to-back years, it was just party, go, and then and then gosh, and then the Chiefs started rolling around with was that about I don't know what Mahomes' first game was, but it was pretty close to around there.
I think his first full season was 2018. So there was a bit of a gap, which basically meant like between Labor Day and Christmas, there was nothing, No, the Chiefs were still good with
they were good.
Andy Reid and Alex Smith.
Yeah, they were good. They were winning some good postseason looks.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking for. God. But anyways, yeah, I digress. We say the Royals in the mid 2010s. Oh, that was such a fun time.
I know so many people with like 5 and 6 year old cats and dogs right now named Salvi.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And but remember we have a lot of fun too. Like we stormed when you watched the Super Bowl whenever we won that here in Lawrence with me and and Paul was there and Tanya and Vladimir was there.
Yes.
And then we you didn't come over for championship KU game, did you? But it was also like 1:30 in the morning. So
that one did go late, and there was something odd about the timing of it that I can't remember what it was, but I couldn't make it to Lawrence that night. I did watch.
I also did not invite you. That might have been the problem.
I think you explicitly said don't come. Yeah.
I was like, Joe, there's a championship basketball game coming up. Whatever you do not come to my house. You are not invited.
Well, the funny thing is, for when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, we did go down to Mass Street.
That was cool. Yeah.
And one of the local TV station cameras caught me. And like 30 seconds later, my brother texts me. Is like, is this you? Are you on Mass Street?
That's awesome. Yeah. I love when that happens. Yeah. Like you're on the news and people text you randomly. That's cool.
Yeah. Especially since I'm like, my brother never texts me.
It's such a funny thing too. It's like, Kansas City wins the Super Bowl. Let's go to Lawrence and see how they're reacting. Like,
it's just about being anywhere, I mean,
that is true. I think Lawrence probably has the only Mass Street. It's like the only street really you can kind of rush. Like the college kids all rush, and everyone knows to go meet down there. And it makes a big crowd happen.
Yeah,
maybe Aggieville. I think people could do it in Aggieville if they wanted to. Right.
I mean, in the area in general, it's that and maybe Power and Light. Where everybody's outside and can like give a big collective hug to like 3,000 beer-soaked people at one time.
Yeah, there's always some sort of some crazy thing going on. Speaking of, have you ever heard of this? I was talking to somebody recently, and So have you ever heard of this concept maybe of like an agent who's like trying to sell like say a commercial real estate or a house that's on a corner of a very busy corner, and they don't like they put their sign up, but they don't actually sell the property, and maybe they don't sell it on purpose. Now I don't want to say the word on purpose, but they're not as working as hard as maybe they should, so they can keep their name up in the glass, and they get all that eyeballs on that traffic. Because I've seen some properties around town here that like have been on the market for years. And I don't know. I mean, I guess that it's just the market, I assume, or something going on where they want some free real estate for their signs.
I guess somebody might find that to be a tactic. I don't think it would be a very effective one. You always want your sign in a visible place. There has been a couple of times where I haven't done it myself, but when I was on a team a few years ago, I was the buyer's agent, and the client bought a house, and the team leader, after closing, the listing agent takes their sign out. Well, we put our team sign in the yard and said "sold by."
Okay.
And then the listing agent was like, "Wait, can I put my sign back there and say sold by?" I'm like, "No, no, because their listing agreement ends at closing." But I digress. But yeah, I would think more people would notice, like, hey, this agent's had this place listed for 2 years. Why can't he get it sold? Because it's more. I mean, that's great to have a visible listing. If you get a listing on a busy street or something, you put your sign as close to the, as easy to spot place as possible. But if you're really into advertising and selling yourself, you would more want to say, hey, here's my average days on market, and it's not 2 years, or here's my sales volume. It would help your marketing more to get it sold, I would think,
I think the most underutilized way to market yourself is a fake ticker tape parade.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have a big parade, right? And everyone's throwing ticker tape, which you don't see enough of these days. More ticker tape.
No.
And like you're having, like, you can like go down the street and everyone could be like cheering you on and stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, right.
Do you remember when we looked into this once, how you can apply for a parade permit in Lawrence?
You can. Yeah. You just got to like fill out a permit. And I think it needs to get I don't know what happens after that. But
yeah. I think the city council may have to approve it. But I'll just say his name, our friend Mike Anderson.
Yeah. This is public. Yeah. He wouldn't care. Yeah. He tried doing the parade thing. Wasn't that the thing? Did he ever fill out, like, because he said he wants a parade, he wants it now. And the reaction always was, fill out the permits.
Yeah. He went to a city council meeting with cheerleaders that were saying, we want a parade. And they're like, well, we appreciate your enthusiasm, but this isn't the venue to do it. You go get a form from, I think her name is Florence. I don't know.
It's just, okay, yeah, whatever. Just fill out the forms like any other thing we do here. There's forms and there's application processes.
And I remember I asked Mike later, I go, so did you ever fill out that form? He's like, nah.
He was so big on that, trying to get celebrities to agree to do it. Like, you don't even have fill out the form. Why didn't you fill out the permits?
Yeah. When Tony Danza says yes, you better have the parade on your calendar. Yeah.
Oh, that was so funny. Mm-hmm. And then like we write like some like, didn't he like quote JC Penney? But like we made up a quote or something.
No, it was an actual quote. I remember we wrote a TV pilot that we submitted somewhere.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember. Okay, that was funny.
And the main character was based on Mike and his late night show. And the first episode, the pilot was about him trying to get the TV or the parade.
Okay, yeah, that was funny.
And before he goes into the courthouse, he talks to some kid.
He's like, has a football or something.
I don't know why I remember this so vividly, because I guess because I don't know if this ever
fun writing. We had fun writing.
Yeah, it's never going to get on the air, so it's not like I'm spoiling the ending. But yeah, he shows up at the courthouse to apply for the parade, and there's a kid sitting there, and he's like, "Oh, why so glum?" And then he quotes. We found a literal quote from J.C. Penney because we just thought it'd be so funny for Mike. Well, kid, J.C. Penney once said, and then he goes, "You know what, kid? You deserve this." And he hands him a half-eaten bag of Skittles.
Oh my God. Oh yeah, it was like I think we're trying to recreate like that Mean Joe Green Coca-Cola commercial where he tosses him a jersey. Is that who it was? And it's like it's slow motion. It's like Coca-Cola all wholesome. I wanted to make that happen with Mike, throwing him half a bag of eating Skittles.
My memory of writing that scene is we were at the Union and we were like all eating nachos and we were just cracking up over plates of nachos.
Oh yeah, that was funny. And we really settled on JCPenney. Like let's quote JCPenney for some random reason. But he had a good quote about like, I don't know, striving, rising above.
Keep trying or something.
He had a good like keep trying quote.
But I think we were struggling to think, oh, who's a funny person to quote? Hey kid, it's like Vince Lombardi once. No, not Vince. Hey kid, it's like Roger Staubach went.
No, not that one. No.
Hey kid, it's like J.C. Penney once said.
J.C. Penney. My kid's like, I order my clothes on Amazon. What is that? Well, it's a department store in malls, not Oak Park Mall, but a mall. Is it Oak Park? Is it?
Yes, it is. It is. Oh,
okay.
It's still there. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
That was one of those anchor stores, right? Isn't it like one of those big stores that like, at the ends of malls or so in the biz, Joe, they call them anchor stores. I don't know if you know this or not. That's Dillard's is an anchor store.
Dillard's is there, Macy's and Nordstrom.
It'd be so cool. Spencer's Gifts was an anchor store. It'd be like 20,000 square feet of like DOS boots and fake poo.
Hey, look at all the erotic pastas they have.
That's a lot of sexually themed clothing in there. Good Lord. They made anchor stores out of Spencer's Gifts. They released Hot Topics on the other side of the anchor store. Move out Dillard's and put in Hot Topic.
Yes, some guy from Dillard's is like, we'll take the anchor store. No, we got Hot Topic.
Hot Topic. And then like a sharper image. I'm not going to pay $800 for a toaster. It's not going to happen.
But it's USB compatible.
Wow, that is kind of cool. And the USB, I think that's Bluetooth functionality, so I can listen to music while I'm toasting my stuff.
We got this hammock with a digital clock on it. Whoa!
Actually, I like going to Sharper Image just to think of the ridiculous ideas, and they're cool. They really are cool. I think it's fun to go in there and check them out. But then I'm like, would you ever buy this? I'm like, I don't think I would for me. Maybe it'd be a unique Christmas gift or something I would buy for somebody just to switch it up a little bit. But remember, Trump sold Trump steaks at the Sharper Image. Did you know that?
I remember Trump steaks. I don't remember them being at the Sharper Image.
He sold them at the Sharper Image. I remember I think I was at the Sharper Image at the country plaza.
Yeah,
the plaza. Yeah, I was at that Sharper Image, and this is whatever year. It's not late 90s or early 2000s. And there's like this big video of Donald Trump going, I can't do a Trump, but it's like, you're going to love these steaks. The top 1%. Screw that. I have the top 1% of the top 1% of steaks. Some people think it's the best steaks. Some people the best top 1%. And he was like selling me on these steaks in like this like stack of steaks at the Sharper Image. And the farthest thing from my mind while I'm in there is like wanting to buy food.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think Sharper Image and like, what do they have that's perishable here?
Well, I mean, you go to the grocery store if you're in the mood to buy food. Like that's kind of where your mindset is at. It's not like a Sharper Image. Just felt like a impulse buy kind of thing.
It was like, hey, if you're an executive who just made it, there's something for you to spend money on at the Sharper Image.
Just made it. I'm going to take my big fat paycheck, go buy some steaks at the Sharper Image, and I'm going to buy a hammock with a digital clock.
I'm going to buy this $3,000 office chair. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll show the world I've made it.
It's made in Denmark, which is cool for some reason.
I'm going to buy this Rubik's Cube that you can't actually solve, and it's made out of crystals. It just looks cool on my desk. And you can spin it, and I'm going to break it when my kid plays with it. Why can't we have a real Rubik's Cube? Because I'm a CEO.
I remember one time on this, I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to quote The Simpsons. One time on The Simpsons, he got a great job, and he's like going down to buy something for himself, and like the name of the store I think it was a sports memorabilia store, and it was called the Spend Zone.
The Spend Zone. That's great. I bet you that was one of those ideas where the guy's like, I have a great idea. The Spend Zone. I have a title. Now, how do I work my way back from this and make something?
I think he bought something ridiculous like Tom Landry's hat or something like that.
Okay, this will go in my Spend Zone. It's great. Yeah. I like the idea of like having a good idea, like a good idea for a movie, like a good title, and then work your way back from the title.
Yeah.
Always a good way to like make anything creative or entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
That's a tough word to say. So speaking of expensive, okay, you know what? We need to talk about your starter home experience with homes that are less than 50,000, which ironically or coincidentally could probably be sold at a sharper image.
There were some expensive items there, but $50,000 would be an expensive item for the price, the sharper image. $50,000 is very inexpensive for a home.
Well, you know what? I like the idea of starter homes out there because not everyone wants to have their starter home be $265,000.
That is true, and so there, it's tough to find something habitable in the $50,000 and under range. Well. It is in what I would consider the Kansas City metro area. There was some stuff that was like falling in way outlying areas and stuff, but it was just too far away from my buyer, and we did end up finding something that was actually habitable. But
right.
It's one of those things where a few years ago, this same buyer, I think, let's see, 7 or 8 years ago, bought a nice, it needed some work. It was a house in foreclosure, but she had purchased a $50,000 house once before. And there were way more options back then.
Yeah.
Still not a ton of options, but like there was one home we went to, we walked in the front door and there was a giant hole in the roof.
Okay.
Several of the homes didn't have front doors, or I guess if you consider plywood a front door.
This reminds me of that scene from The Simpsons where Troy McClure is walking Marge through a bunch of different houses. And she's like, he was trying to think of nicer ways to talk about what's going on. Like, that house is on fire.
Motivated seller.
That house is dilapidated.
Fixer upper,
But yeah, but there are, okay, so habitable, I mean, that's the word, right? It's like, I assume I guess not everything you put on the market is, I guess, is the sold as is territory. But if you're a handy person, I guess, you can find a thing.
Well, here's kind of the paradox is homes in that shape, often a lender will not loan on them.
No,
so you have to be a cash buyer, and somebody with $50,000 in cash generally can
put a down payment on that thing.
Make a down payment and buy something nicer. So a lot of these homes are bought by investors. So it was rare that my buyer was an owner occupant. Just happened to be a cash buyer looking for something inexpensive.
That sounds rare. Yeah. Yeah. So is that we buy ugly houses type people who buy those kinds of houses?
They might. In this case, we were buying a house that was owned by an investor, and it brings up some topics that I know we've been going a while here, but we can touch on another time. But the owner of the home had bought it to move some money for a 1031 exchange, and had to buy something, and bought it from a house wholesaler. So basically, bought it off market. And was basically turning around and selling it like 4 weeks after this said investor bought it. And so there was a lot I learned about. I kind of know about the 1031 exchange and how that works, and house wholesaling. I learned a lot about that during this process. But it was a strange deal, and we happened upon it. Timing just worked out. For that one, but it was definitely as is.
Be nice to. I was looking at the story right here where they have private Kansas City area pools. A new app that lets you rent a pool by the hour from strangers. It's like an Airbnb for swimming pools.
Be kind of nice. I've heard about that. I haven't read any of the articles about it yet, but I assume that's people with backyard pools, and people can just come over and use them. And I'd still feel a little awkward splashing around, like especially if the homeowner's like there
watching you from their living room or something. It's kind of weird. You pay them to like leave.
Yeah. Oh,
I guess that's what we're turning into, right? Like subscription economy or rent by the hour economy, where they can use your stuff.
Yeah,
I can see that. I this summer I went to the pool a lot, the city pool, with my 5-year-old son, and we had a great time. And that's a lot of actually. I think he had a great time going there, and it's cool because obviously if you had your own space and your own thing, that's most people would prefer, I guess, that experience. But I guess when you're him, he was happy because there was a lot of other kids to play with.
Yeah,
he can just go up there and get. It's a good place for the locals to mingle, right, and get to know each other and do stuff, and we're at the pool hanging out. And but yeah, you have to see kids interact with each other. But yeah, I can see that being valuable. Just like I should just buy a pool. I think kiddie pools will qualify.
Maybe. Well. Yeah, if you undercut everybody on price,
okay, should try that.
They'll be like, Mr. Reynolds, we splashed all the water out of it. You only get one refill. Yeah.
Oh, there's a refill fee on that one.
Yeah,
it's exuberant. For this price, we could buy our own kiddie pool. Quiet. You should have thought about that before you decide. Before you PayPal me the money.
Yeah, but try winterizing that kid. I have to live with this thing all year round. Yeah.
There's pretty much an app for everything these days. How about like an app for like renting an RV or something? I'm sure there's something for this.
I'm sure there is. I'm sure. Oh yeah. Actually, there's a rental car company. I don't know if they do RVs, but it's called Turo, where people with high-end cars put them up for rent. So you fly into town, rent a car through Turo. It's somebody else's car, but it's a good way to spend a weekend or a week driving a Ferrari or something like that.
That would be cool. Actually, I think my son likes Bugattis because he plays Roblox a lot. And I guess that's a popular car to get in the Roblox game. And that's where he just out of nowhere walks up to me and he goes, "Can I have a Bugatti?" I'm like, what? No. It's like $3 million. No. Yeah. However, I can see if he's that excited about him now, I'm sure if he sticks with it and then become a teenager someday, he might want to rent one for a day. If that's doable. Maybe it's doable. I don't know.
Maybe, by then they'll have been out for a while. Maybe he can pick up a cheap used one.
like how Ataris work.
Well, yeah, I mean, like when my dad, late teens, early 20s, the iconic Aston Martin DB5 that James Bond drove, he's found one in a salvage yard, and he was like. He was like, "Oh man, I wish because it's like a $2.5 million car now,
Wow.
And it was in pretty rough shape, and he was still like, I can't afford it, And it's like, but this was I assume the late 60s. Yeah, he still talks about that, like that, and all the baseball cards my grandma threw away.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, worst.
Yeah.
So I like whenever my dad talks about like. He likes to save coins. If you ever go to my house, you'll see like these big like Tupperware things full of coins, and you start adding them all up, and it's like probably thousands of dollars worth of coins, like just for the value of the coins. He's like, well, those things go up in value with the precious metals. Well, if you put that into an index fund, I think you'd make more money. If your goal here is to make more money, and obviously people like to have a hobby and everything, and it's a fun thing to maybe keep track of coins or whatever, but like. If the premise is because I want to make more money, like there are better ways to invest our money.
Well, like real estate.
Yeah. Especially if you bought it in 2009 or 10, something like that.
Well, I was meeting at a networking group that I go to about once a week. I don't make it very regularly, but it's real estate investors. And, with inflation as high as it is, and home prices up as high as they are, it's not many people are seeing the investment value in real estate right now. It's like, it's too high to get in. But if inflation goes higher, it's a hedge. I mean, if you have $100,000 sitting under your mattress, well, it's kind of losing value as time goes on.
Yeah. If it just sits there idly, yeah. I mean,
whereas if you bought $100,000 home, which would be a cheap home, in 10 years, it will have kept up with the rate of inflation. So at least you've had an asset that's kept up.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I like talking. I like whenever, like if I go out, like in Lawrence here, and there's a lot of college students, aged people, like at the bars we go to here. And if you start talking about this kind of thing with them, or talking about like home prices over the last 5 years,
yes,
or anything related to that, then that's when I realized, oh wait, there are people on this planet who do not follow these things every day. You learn really quickly. Like, so if you're want someone to say like, you know, they can talk about, home prices are going up, but like, yeah, you haven't checked the Zillow prices like every day since 2015, have you? Like, there's people who would check those every single day. They just know they've gone up. They don't know if like if I were to say like $142 a square foot for a home, like, is that good? Like, it's kind of high considering what we've been in the last 5 years and what happened in 2020 and 2021 with, for some reason, a big spike happened in terms of home values.
Yeah.
So I always need to remind myself that not everybody looks at this stuff every single day of their life, which is probably for the best, right?
It's true, but it speaks to a larger issue of how many people understand the basics of just managing their money, too.
Right. Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, one of these days I'm going to buy a Breckenridge home, or you're going to buy it and let me borrow it.
I'll put it on Brian Verbo. And, yeah, it's one house, and
the investments. It seems like those home prices always go up. Like, I wonder if take a look at the price per square foot of a vacation destination like Breck or Key West or Largo or any one of those spots, and like see like how those markets do like in the last 20 years compared to maybe an index fund, the S&P index fund. I wonder which one, if you bought a Key Largo like rental property, 22 years ago, how much has that gone up in value?
That'd be interesting, because my suspicion is they've gone up, but during a recession, luxury properties like that are probably the first to take a hit. They would never be a bargain enough for me to buy, but it's like, somebody's like, oh, my house in Barbados was worth 22 million. Now it's worth 18 and a half.
Oh, that's I'm sorry, man. That's rough.
Yeah.
I feel bad for you.
Yeah. We're not going to be able to refi and put in the 4-story waterfall we wanted. Oh.
I like your character whenever someone's bummed out. You always go, oh. I can't install a Shark Tank. This guy, I don't know if I think I want to hang out with that guy. Like,
yeah, he's bummed about stuff that would, if I'd be excited if I was bummed about it. Yes. Oh, well, we can't do the roller coaster with 9 loops. We can only do one with 6. Oh,
oh my gosh. You have a cat, right?
I do, Chloe.
Kansas City ranks among the most pet-friendly cities in the nation. Did you know that?
I didn't, but I'm not surprised.
I love these studies that they just kind of. Who did this? Wallet Hub. Okay, I know what's going on here. My SEO spidey senses are tingling here. They made up this thing so they get a link from this news organization. Oh yeah, Wallet Hub says it released a new in-depth report making it 2022's most pet-friendly cities. They want to rank cities. Oh my gosh. We should do this with our website. We need to make up some sort of ranking, and we make rules. We'll make up the rules ourselves. We'll find data points that are publicly available, and we will just organize it. And we'll have to factor in maybe some like, some subjective thing, like, because people expect a little bit of subjectivity, like with a point of view. But it has to be kind of obscure, like a pet friendly city, like the best city streetlights, like ranking the best streetlights in the nation or something.
What city gives you the best odds of owning a Ferrari?
What city? Okay. Most like, I don't know, like most consistently parallel, like center lines that we want to.
Yeah.
Who has the best painting job and who has the best parking spot painting lines?
Ooh,
that's a good one.
That's a good one.
You can literally just think. There is. I swear to God, there is a marketing. There was a meeting at Wallet Hub, and people were thinking about like we need a new listicle of some kind. We need to rank the cities somehow. Who's got something? And like, well, you know what? Pet friendly is like something with pets is always good, I guess, because it's like people and their pets are a big. I saw someone on TikTok actually talk about how their rental property, their Airbnb, was not pet friendly. And the moment she changed it to pet friendly, like her sales the next month went up like significantly because people want to travel with their pet. So, but yeah, so maybe this is kind of what they're trying to do. But there was like, we need a new listicle or some sort of ranking system so we can talk about the cities themselves. Like which city has the best, I don't know. The best, they should do something like from the 50s, like best drive-in theaters.
Yeah. Who has the best haberdashers? Yes.
The best haberdashers. But
that would probably even be pre-50s.
We should do that. We should, on our website, we should think of that. Stay tuned. We're going to think of some things like that where we rank the best in the nation. And you know what? You'll be the authority on that thing, Joe.
I will.
Joe the Realtor says, the best haberdashers are in St. Louis or something along those lines.
I don't know. I'm from Kansas City. I might be biased.
Okay, well.
Haberdashers and barbecue. We take that very seriously.
The data falls where the data falls.
That's right.
But if we, maybe,
fair enough.
If the Excel spreadsheet, gets a little water on it. I did. Whoops. I guess that's a ding against St. Louis on that one.
Yeah, darn.
Oh, sorry, St. Louis.
Suddenly St. Louis is like losing residents like percent a month. We heard about our haberdasher problem.
So to combat against this haberdasher, people fleeing the city due to the haberdasher issues, we've started a new policy to attract better cobblers. Yeah. So maybe don't like our haberdashers, but now we have cobblers. Way better. And like people from Chicago start fleeing to come to get to the cobblers.
and me, I show up. I'm like, I heard you had good cobbler. I'm like, no, cobblers. Like, oh, I wanted peach cobbler.
What a disappointment. Yeah. Too bad I bought this $500,000 home. Sight unseen.
We have a mutual friend who's in St. Louis real estate.
Yes, he's doing good.
He seems to be.
Yeah, good for him. He's doing great. Yeah, selling stuff left and right. I do like that whenever we have like real estate friends and like they post like their latest selling or listings on there. I do like those on Facebook. I click on all of them. I want to see the photos.
Well, today he posted about being like on a beach in Mexico. So I think he is doing okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Look at you on a beach, living the good life. Yeah. If you ever see me on a beach, I probably drove to it for that day. Or it was like a flash sale at Groupon. Like, look, we got one more Groupon left. And it's buy 2, get 2 free.
I missed a connecting flight. That's why I'm on the beach.
Yeah, that's awesome. In a vacation. I want my next vacation to be, well, Tanya gives birth in October. So I think vacations might be out for a little while, but then maybe next year do a vacation.
Yeah, you can take a 1-year-old on a trip.
You can, sure. Yeah. Or, well, I mean, it's one of the, we could also leave it with the grandparents, but how old do we want the kiddo to be for that kind of thing? That's kind of a tall order the first year of being alive.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't always sleep through the night.
They do not. They do not. So, but we'll see. We'll cross that. I like that. There was a tweet that went out. I saw it was really funny. It went viral, and it goes, well. If it isn't the bridge, I'd say I cross whenever I get to it. Well, hello, bridge. It's time to cross this bridge. Well. That's funny. Oh, so yeah. Anything else, Joe? I think that's been a good episode right there. I
think so. We talked about homes under 50,000. We talked about inventory.
Sharper
image, and
do you want to do your like Jerry Springer final thought thing? Can you do one?
What did we learn today? Well, we learned that not all homes priced at 50,000 are inhabitable. You shouldn't buy perishables. It's Sharper Image, and the Spend Zone is a hilarious name for a high-end sporting memorabilia store. Remember, take care of yourself and each other.
Yes, very good.
Yeah.
I like that. Did Springer ever like do like pun jokes at the end of it? Like, if we can learn to get along and put a roof over each other's head, maybe we'll find ourselves building a foundation of love or something like that.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I wish I'd thought of that.
Wow.
I'm
Yeah.
kind of jealous of.
Well, I had 30 seconds to think about it while you were doing. You were doing that on the fly. I
I
was.
was struggling a bit. You had at least 30 seconds.
Those are my favorite improv games where you just like think of pun jokes. I love them. I love those. It's like grown, like but I mean, I guess that's as I get older, the more I like pun jokes.
I like them too. There's an art to it. It's very good. Your son had a good one about a store name.
Well, that's not a pun joke, or is it a pun joke? That's more of a rhyme.
I think of it as a pun.
Okay, well, I'll tell you. But maybe the listener can tell us. Like, my wife was like putting lotions and wanting to go buy more lotion, and he goes, "Where lotions a fun?"
I think that's a pun.
Is that a pun? Lotions a fun?
Sort of, yeah. A play on words. I mean,
It's a play on words, but wouldn't it like a pun would be like oceans of fun, like something ocean related, like lotion, or like what's a lotion? Oh, like a
Billy Ocean's of fun.
or no, you can work out lotions of fun, and you can apply whatever you want. And I'm rubbing my face when I say apply.
Oh, that's yeah.
That's a pun joke.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we should go another hour talking about this because we're about ready to sign off, but now we started this conversation. We got
Come check out our second podcast, Puns.
pun jokes.
Yeah.
We talk about puns.
Yeah.
It's a time waster. All right. All right, Joe. What else we have to say? Like, share, subscribe to this podcast.
Yes.
Our website, ksrealtyagent.com. is our website. That's the Joe the Realtor website.
I've seen you've been posting our clips on YouTube as well. So.
Yeah, you can find this podcast on YouTube. I like to clip them out. We'll see what I clip out. I might want to clip out that sharper image discussion so I can get some sharper image people who are searching for that, and then they can find us. Are they still in business?
I don't know. I think they're only like online and mail order because I don't think that store's at the Plaza anymore.
We should talk about Circuit City next week.
Circuit City and Blockbuster.
Yeah, we should talk about all those, our favorite stores to go shopping at. All right, Joe.
Wars.
Good to see you as always.
Good to see you too, Brian.
And thank you for listening.